What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some of the most insane battles that I pulled off with the crazy and unique teams that I ran this season. And if you're new here, I can tell you with absolute certainty you won't be seeing battles like this anywhere else on YouTube. So if you do enjoy this video, please share your support, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you want to see more insane content like this next season. And with that being said, let's just get straight into the question of the day. What has been your favourite video featuring my own battles that I've uploaded this season? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Carablast into Shadow Steelix. Now this is not a good matchup for most bug types, but we will make it to the drill run as the opponent makes it to a breaking swipe. I thought they'd go for it straight away, so I go for the CMP tie. The opponent lets it go through, it does huge damage, and then they panic swap into a Medicham, and this is also where I would like the Medicham aligned to my team. We go for the X-Scissor, that does big damage, and the opponent throws on the CMP tie, which Carablast does win, so we end up grabbing a shield from the Medicham as well. Now I'm happy to let Carablast go down. It has put in so much work in this battle already. We're now going to come in with the Dwebble because of course we can't come in with the Pawniard. This is still a bad matchup, so I will shield this up. They go for the Psychic, they get the defense drop, which is unfortunate for me, but now I'm going to overfarm just a little bit and go for the X-Scissor. X-Scissor does take them out. I'm going to go for one extra smackdown and then swap, trying to catch the move, and I'm able to perfectly catch a breaking swipe onto my Pawniard. That does not do much damage. The opponent goes for another charge move here. It looks like they are very weak to the Pawniard in the back, so they go for the double debuffs. I'm going to overfarm in this matchup, go for the Night Slash, and with the double debuff, that actually doesn't quite take them out, but I'm able to get the Fury Cutter farm down, and this is why they were so scared of the Pawniard. They've got a Trevenant in the back. We go for the Night Slash, we actually grab the shield, and we get a boost, and now this Night Slash will do the regular damage that it would normally do. It does a lot of damage. We swap into Dwebble, and we're able to make it to the X-Scissor in time, and this will be taking out the Trevenant, and I'm able to take that game. Into the first battle, we lead Galarian Weezing into Jellicent, so a fairly good matchup. We do have Brutal Swing, which we can spam, and it does hit for super effective damage, but Shadow Ball will also do quite a lot of damage here. We go for the Brutal Swing just before they make it to the Shadow Ball. I expect them to go for one extra Hex before throwing, but they don't, so unfortunately, I'm not able to make a catch onto my Zweilous, but it doesn't matter. The opponent goes for a catch there, trying to catch the Brutal Swing, but we do hold on to the energy, and now I can full send an Overheat, and the opponent does respect the damage, which is not very good for me because now Overheat is going to do less damage as we do debuff our attack by 2 stages with every use, and now we are quad stage debuffed. We only make it to a Brutal Swing, and this is not going to do much damage whatsoever. Now here I swap into my Zweilous. I'm hoping with 2 shields in play they bait with a Zap Cannon, but no, the opponent full sends the Focus Blast. It one-shots the Zweilous. This doesn't look too good for us, but don't worry, we've got Doduo, and it is absolutely time for Doduo to shine in this matchup. We're going to shield here. These lock-ons obviously not doing much damage whatsoever, so I will overfarm massively in this matchup. The opponent makes a very nice catch onto the Jellicent, but it doesn't matter because Drill Peck takes out the Jellicent. They come back in with the Registeel. We're going to go for another Drill Peck there as they were close to the next charge move. We take out the Registeel, and they've got a Shadow Shiftry in the back. Now Shiftry incredibly spammy with Snarl and Leaf Blade, but we are also incredibly spammy here. We've got the final shield here, and we are going to be one quick attack away from the next charge move. They're one Snarl away, but we get there in time, and Drill Peck will easily be enough damage to take out the Shiftry, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there by an Alolan Ninetales. So into the next game, a much more manageable lead there, leading into the Licky Tongue. The opponent safe swaps into Lantern, and Gabite is a really strong response here. Obviously Surf going to be neutral damage, but we do triple resist the spark damage, so it's probably doing like 1 damage here. Going to go for a dig. We did farm to the CMP tie with the next Surf, and the opponent lets it go through. It nearly takes them out, not quite unfortunately, but we will live the next Surf, and we're going to get very low, so the Licky Tongue isn't going to get much farm with those licks, which is quite nice for us, and we can go straight for a dig as soon as they come back in with that Licky Tongue. Now this isn't going to do much damage. We know Licky Tongue is very bulky, but it is some valuable chip after all. We're now going to come back in with the Sharpedo. They will outpace us to the Body Slam, so I'm going to have to use a shield. Of course Sharpedo has to shield basically everything. They come in with a Medicham. We're going to go straight for the Poison Fang there. We need to debuff their defense, and they actually let that go through. This is massive for me. We can now come in with the Garchomp, and I will be able to fully Dragon Tail farm them down, shielding once as Ice Punch would easily one-shot us even from full health. health, but now we can just go straight Sand Tomb in this matchup, and I'm hoping I make it to the second Sand Tomb before they do get to a Body Slam, and we do make it, and this is perfect for me. This will double debuff their defense, and it should put them into Waterfall farm down range. They're going to go for the charge move straight away. Body Slam takes us out, but now we can go for the Waterfall farm down, and I'm able to take that game. With enough energy to go straight for a charge move into my Skeledirge, and unfortunately we lose that game. But into the next game, we see a pretty neutral lead matchup there. I realized that counters were doing more damage than the Mud Saps, so I swap into my Feraligatr, catching a Sludge Bomb. They're able to counter farm me down, so perhaps, considering I just fully sacrificed for Alligator, maybe I should have swapped into my Skeledirge there, but the opponent comes in with a Charm Grand Ball, so this is absolutely fine with me. I'm happy to see it here. We go straight for the Disarming Voice, and Disarming Voice grabs a shield from the opponent. They then swap into a Bronzong here, so I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball, and this should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. Now I can swap into Crocodile, and we are double resisting the confusion here, and hopefully we can fully shield this up and then farm them all the way down. Can we get the farm down? Yes, we can. We come out with an Earthquake loaded, and this will easily be enough damage to take out the Grand Ball, and I'm able to take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Surfetched into a Medicham, so not a great lead. Gonna save swap into my Quaquaval, and we are of course running Wing Attack and Aerial Ace, so we can at least hit for super effective damage. The opponent doesn't even build up to a Psychic, they go for an Ice Punch, and then they swap into their Noctowl. So I'm gonna go for a close combat here, and this will do big damage to the Noctowl. We don't quite have enough energy for a second close combat, so I go for the Aerial Ace, grabbing a shield from the Noctowl. Now we're gonna come in with the Shadow Golduck after waiting at the switch here, and the opponent is going to be able to make it to a charge move. I'm going to use a shield here just because otherwise Golduck will get very low. They actually full send a Shadow Ball, and I'm able to fully confusion farm them down. They now come in with Galarian Stunfisk, so I can build up to the back-to-back cross chops here. The first one will do some nice super effective damage to the Stunfisk. I swap into Surfetch, I get off 2 counters there, which should put them into range, hopefully, where I will be able to take them out with a cross chop in the end game. Here I build up to the Brave Bird, go for a Leaf Blade bait, and the opponent once again not farming to the Psychic. We can let the Ice Punch go through, make it to Leaf Blade number 2, and this will get the Medicham incredibly low to the point where we can come in with the Golduck, get the confusion farm down. I know they're at a charge move here, so instead I'm going to go for the extra confusion just in case they're not quite in range for a cross chop to KO, but now this should definitely be enough damage to take out the Stunfisk, and I'm able to take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead straight into a Medicham. Now this is why my team is set up like this. We've got Berserker in the lead, Shadow Claw is super effective, I can go straight for a Trailblaze, and this will boost my attack. The opponent does actually use a shield, which is not ideal, but these boosted Shadow Claws do get Medicham fairly low already, and this is where it's really nice running Incineroar, because we do typically resist both charge moves from the Medicham. Ice Punch, single resisted, Psychic, double resisted, so whilst they are dealing super effective damage with the counters, we can actually sponge this damage. We don't have to use a shield. We can go for the Blaze Kick, and it's very unlikely that they double shield, so they let it go down. We come in with Meowscarada, and they've got Lantern and Galarian Stunfisk in the back, so this is time for Meowscarada to shine. We go for a Grass Knot straight away. That would do quite a lot of damage to the Stunfisk. I know Rock Slide will be neutral, both Surf and Thunderbolt will be resisted damage, so I'm going to double shield in this matchup, and I'm really hoping that I can get them into range where a Grass Knot will be enough damage to take them out. We throw on the CMP tie with the third Rock Slide, and Grass Knot does take out the Galarian Stunfisk. They come back in with the Lantern, they have to go for Thunderbolt there, they don't get there in time, and this Grass Knot will be one-shotting the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. So now going into the triple 100% IV Shadow Pokemon team, and this time usually we run Infestation on our Weezing, but I thought I'd mix it up this time around, go for Tackle, give a little bit more fast move pressure for the team, and we do shield up a Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, Alolan Mark completely core breaks the entire team, as they do resist all the charge moves we can throw on our Weezing, and then deal super effective damage up against both Girafarig and Hypno, so this is not a great matchup to be in. They go for the Dark Pulse there. I will be able to make it to a Shadow Ball just before I go down, and the opponent lets it go through, so I swap into my Shadow Girafarig, going for the snipe, but unfortunately they do make it to another charge move here. And they go for an Acid Spray, which is really awkward for me. They now come in with a Talonflame, and they probably will be able to incinerate farm me all the way down here. So I go for the Psychic Fangs, grabbing a shield. We could of course be running Thunderbolt, by the way, so that's why the opponent did respect the damage. We now make it to another Psychic Fangs, and we make it to a third Psychic Fangs before they get the incinerate farm down. We get the Talonflame incredibly low, and I'm actually going to come in with the Wheezing, just forcing the opponent to throw straight away. They go for a Flame Charge. Now they will not be able to get to a Brave Bird. They come back in with the Machamp, so I'm going to go straight for a Side Shock here. I don't want to put myself into range where a Flame Charge would take us out. We take out the Machamp there, and the opponent recognizing they had to go for the Brave Bird, I'm able to Confusion down the Talonflame and take that game. We take out the Medicham and we take that game. Into next game, we see a Shadow Alolan Sandslash in the lead, so we're going to do the exact same thing here. Try to swap, catch the Ice Punch, and get the full Volt Switch in for free. Now, if the opponent wants to stay in this matchup, I will outpace them, but instead, they come in with a Skeledirge. Now, this is not great for a triple bug theme team, but we do have Crunch, and the opponent lets it go through. That's absolutely massive for me, and then we live with 1 HP and a Dream. We make it to the X-Scissor. Doesn't really matter which one we throw there, because they are low enough where an X-Scissor would take them out. Now, once again, we did bang that Cross Poison, so we can win the CMP tie up against the Skeledirge, grabbing the shield from the opponent. Now, they do have 2 Disarming Voices, so I expect they're going to throw one here, which we do survive. They then swap back into their Shadow Alolan Sandslash, and they make it to a charge move here. I'm going to shield this up, and I think I will overfarm by 1 Volt Switch here. And no, actually overfarming by 2, going for the X-Scissor. This should now be in range where resisted X-Scissor takes them out. And what do they have in the back? They've got a Azumarill, so we can go for 2 Volt Switches before throwing a Discharge. That is the correct timing up against their 3-turn move. Now here, I'm expecting the opponent to swap back into their Skeledirge and go for a Snipe after they grab my final shield. So I'm going to go for the X-Scissor here, winning the CMP tie. This will be taking out the Skeledirge, and now I just have to make it to a Discharge. Actually, could have probably just farmed it down there, but we go for the Discharge anyways, and we take out the Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Wailord into Lickitung, so a more neutral lead matchup here for the Wailord. Of course, they could be running Power Whip, so once again, we're going to swap. We go for the catch here, and did we catch a double resisted Power Whip? Yes, we did. That's perfect. That does literally nothing there. Now, the opponent comes in with Medicham. Once again, very interesting swap into a Celesteela, but it is a fairly neutral matchup, as I have mentioned already. We are going to possibly shield this up here. No, we're going to let it go through. Ice Punch, not quite enough damage to take us out. And this Body Slam will definitely take out a Medicham from this range, and the opponent happy to let the Medicham go down there, so they come back in with the Lickitung. Now, I'm actually going to come in with my Executor here, just because we do apply a lot more fast move pressure with these Dragon Tails, and 1 charge move should be enough to take out the Lickitung here. So I'm going to shield up the Body Slam. I will overfarm in this matchup, and I will go for the Seed Bomb here just before they make it to the next move. And Seed Bomb does take out the Lickitung. They come in with a Charge Bug, and here I make a really questionable decision. I catch the X-Scissor, which is fine, but they're going to be able to fully farm me down with the Volt Switches here. So we go for a Surf. I'm hoping I make it to a second Surf in time, but it's going to be really close here, and we barely don't get it. We don't get the new mechanic, but the opponent throws on alignment here. Now my only play is just to go for a full Dragon Tail farm down, and we're able to take out the Charger Bug there and take that game as of late, and there's nothing I can do about that. So unfortunately, some of these battles are quite laggy. But into the next game, we see a Jellicent in the lead, a great lead for us, and the opponent swaps. They try to catch a move on Galarian Stunfisk, and now we come in with the Comfey. The opponent just goes straight for a Rock Slide here. I'm not sure if they think we're a Grass type, because otherwise you probably should go for Earthquake, but also Earthquake did get nerfed this season, so maybe it wouldn't quite deal enough damage to one-shot us, so it's better to go for Rock Slides in this matchup here. But we're going to shield up the next Rock Slide. We are going to overfarm, throw on the CMP tie with the next Rock Slide from this Galarian Stunfisk, and Grass Knot will be grabbing a shield from the opponent. You don't see the animation, but they certainly did shield there. We're once again going to shield, and once again going to go for the Grass Knot on the CMP tie. Even if they do shield here, we do get this Galarian Stunfisk very low, so I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, we don't have any real response for a Steel type with this team, so I'm pretty happy to get them this low. And we come in with Flabébé. They will reach 1 more Rock Slide before we get the Vine Whip farm down, but that's absolutely fine. They actually swap into a Poliwrath. I'm going to overfarm here, go straight for the Dazzling Gleam, and Dazzling Gleam one-shots the Poliwrath there. We get the farm down up against the the Stunfisk, and they come back in with the Jellicent. They throw the move straight away, and Surf will be taking me out, and now it's all up to Joltik. Is a discharge gonna be enough damage from this range to take out the bulky Jellicent? No, it's not quite enough damage. They reach a charge move, but can we live this? Is it just a Surf? It is just a Surf, and we make it to the discharge in time, and this second discharge will easily take out the Jellicent, and we win with the smallest team possible. Alright, so going into the first battle, we need Shadow Sceptile into Medicham. Now, you might notice that my team is quite weak to a Medicham, but it's good to see it in the lead. Now, the opponent makes a catch onto Altaria, but they catch a Breaking Swipe, which is quite good news for me. Now, it does take them slightly longer to make it to a Sky Attack, so I go for 4 Volt Switches, go for the Breaking Swipe, but it barely doesn't take up the Altaria. That is unfortunate, but actually, that might be a blessing in disguise, because now I give this Medicham much less farm, as they only get off maybe 3 counters before they fully take up my Heliolisk, and we grab a shield with the Breaking Swipe as well. Now we come back in with the Shadow Sceptile. I'm gonna have to shield this up. The opponent goes for an Ice Punch. I can now go and swap into my Rhyperior. The opponent has a Toxapex. Now we take double super effective damage from Brian, but this is where Breaking Swipe comes in clutch, because I can go for a charge move here, grab the shield from the opponent. They make it to a charge move here, and I know they're probably at the back-to-back, but I don't have to go for another Breaking Swipe. I've debuffed them enough already where we live that these poison jabs are double resisted, and we can go for a full Mudslap farm down, come out with 2 Breaking Swipes loaded. We go for the first one here, and just to guarantee I get the win, I'm going to swap into my Shadow Sceptile straight away, go for that Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade going to deal big damage to the Medicham. We get the Bullet Seed farm down, and I'm able to take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Slowbro into a Raichu. Now, this is not a great lead, but typically, the Alolan Raichu is going to farm to 4 Volt Switches, because either they're running Grass Knot and Wild Charge, and they don't want to debuff their defense, or they're just happy to overfarm anyways. Even if they're running Thunder Punch, we would actually live that. So here, I'm able to grab a shield with my Slowbro, then I come in with Xatu, and even though we're still taking super effective damage, Deoxys attack would be taking more damage from that matchup. So here, we're going to farm, throw on the CMP type with this Malamar. My hope is to grab the final shield, and we get the final shield, and now this is prime time for attack from Deoxys. Foul Play takes us out. We can come in with the Deoxys, and we will be able to shield once and fully poison jab, farm them down, and this is amazing for us. Look, the Psycho Cuts, they are resisted. We are able to get that farm down very comfortably, and what do they have in the back? They are going to come in with Galarian Rapidash here. We overfarm, we go for the Psycho Boost, and this will be enough damage to take out the Rapidash. We have a Dark Pulse loaded as well to throw into Alolan Raichu coming back in, and Dark Pulse takes out the Raichu, and I'm able to take that game. Into the next game, we see Tropius into yet another Medicham, and one common thing you're going to see in basically every video that I upload is that Medicham is absolutely everywhere. So if you don't have a good team up against Medicham, then you are definitely going to struggle in this league. We're going to go for the Air Slashes, over farming, and go for an Aerial Ace, grabbing a shield from the opponent. They make it to another Ice Punch. They're staying in here, so maybe they are weak to either Grass types or Flying types in the back, so I'm going to stay in as well. Go for a final Leaf Blade here just before they make it to another Ice Punch, and we take out the Medicham. Now they come in with a Bomber Snow. This is not looking good for me whatsoever, especially when all shields are down on my end. We grab a final shield from the opponent, but can we make it to the Ancient Power? They go for Weather Ball. It doesn't quite take us out, but they get to the next Weather Ball on the CMP tie, and they do very easily win CMP, taking out my Bayleaf. This is really not looking good. It looks like it's game over for me. As we come in with the Meganium, we should be able to live a Weather Ball, but a Frenzy Plant will not be enough damage to take out the Abomasnow, but we're going to stay in anyways. But the opponent, they give up switch advantage here. They swap into an Azumarill. So what I'm going to do is bank a Frenzy Plant, swap into my Tropius. But they will make it to a charge move here, and Ice Beam is double super effective. It would easily take us out, but they go for Play Rough. They're not running Ice Beam. That allows me to farm them down, come out with an Aerial Ace loaded. This will do big super effective damage here, and we had the Frenzy Plant bank, so we can go for it straight away into the Abomasnow, taking out the Abomasnow, and I'm able to take that game. So I genuinely thought that was game over as soon as I saw the Abomasnow, but because of a misplay on the opponent's end, we're actually able to take it. It was Lantern that just completely screwed me over. But GG's to that opponent. Into the next game, we see Steelix in the lead. Not ideal for us, but I mean, I'd prefer to see it here than up against my Raikou. They're going to go for a breaking swipe. We're going to go for a bubble beam. This is going to do literally no damage whatsoever, but it will debuff their attack. And I will be able to live the next breaking swipe and make it to another bubble beam. But actually, I don't really want that. So instead, I'm going to swap out into my Entei, try to go for the fire spin farm down, but we still don't get there before they make it to yet another breaking swipe. So breaking swipe, going to debuff my attack. I choose to no shield. We're going to go for a Scorching Sands on the CMP tie with the Surfeit up against the Jellicent. And Scorching Sands doesn't do that much damage. We get the attack drop here, and I'm actually going to shield in this matchup because I do have quite a lot of energy. I will make it to a second Scorching Sands here up against the Jellicent, hoping this will be grabbing a shield from the opponent, but they let it go through, and that's not ideal for me at all. And unfortunately, I'm just going to let the Entei go down. Surf takes us out. We can come in with the Raikou. We are running Volt Switch in this battle. And the opponent is going to come in with a Gligar, and that's not that bad for me, especially when they go straight Aerial Ace. Not sure what they're thinking here, but we can let that go through. Come in with the Suicune. They swap into Steelix, but we get the Ice Fang farm down, and we come out with a Bubble Beam loaded. This is going to debuff their attack, meaning we can stay in this matchup for even longer with the Suicune. And they actually throw a charge move here, meaning I get one extra Ice Fang through for free, and I'm able to Ice Fang, farm down the Gligar, and take that game. Alright, let's go into the first battle, and by the way, this is the second time I'm recording this because unfortunately the audio was just awful in the first one. A lot of static, a lot of just weird noises that were just awful. I tried to salvage it, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do so. So apologies if I do sound a little bit less enthusiastic than normal. This is the second time I'm recording, nearly 25 minutes worth of battles, but here, the opponent going to swap into a Galarian Stunfisk. Not great for me. I'm hoping they just throw straight away, and they do exactly that. So I'm going to let the Swoobat go down. Can't really do much up against the Stunfisk, but I do debuff its defense. I'm hoping with that debuff, maybe we can just go straight Shadow Ball in this matchup and take them out with the wing attack damage adding up eventually, but I don't think it's going to happen. We go for that Shadow Ball. It's not enough to take them out, and also not really putting them into range where a Poison Fang will take them out either. So I'm going to tank the Rock Slide, swap into my Noibat, and go for the Air Slash farm down. Unfortunately, they do make it to another Rock Slide. Rock Slide going to do big damage, but we do get the farm down. Actually, the opponent swaps into Medicham. We barely make it to a Boom Burst, and this is going to do big damage, so it does grab the final shield from the opponent. They also throw straight away, throwing on the CMP tie, which is perfect for me, because now I can come in with the Golbat, farm up to 6 wing attacks, go for the Shadow Ball, and from this range, Shadow Ball will be enough damage to take out the Medicham. They come back in with the Toxapex. They're fairly low. Shadow Ball is non-stab. It's not going to do too much damage here, and it doesn't quite take them out, but we get the wing attack farm down. We wing attack, farm down the Stunfisk, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Charizard in the lead, so I'm going to save swap into my Kyurem straight away. This time they are correctly running the wing attack, which is a much better fast move. They go straight for a Dragon Claw, can't really afford to shield this up. I was expecting the opponent to swap out anyways, and it's a good thing I didn't shield because we get absolutely walled by this Cobalion. Now here you see I didn't actually throw there. It was kind of tactical, making my opponent throw their energy, meaning I can come in with my Toxicroak and potentially just fully counter farm them all the way down. We do resist everything here. Sacred Sword will be resisted, and a Stone Edge, if they're running it, which they probably will also be resisted, but non-stab, so it makes a lot more sense for them to just go straight Sacred Sword in this matchup. But here I'm able to get the full counter farm down, come out with like 98 energy. We go for Sludge Bomb number 1. This should be grabbing a shield from the opponent. It does, and we go for Sludge Bomb number 2. I'm hoping to get all shields down in this matchup, and we do exactly that. Now, unfortunately, this Charizard does have a lot of energy, so I'm going to shield once. They then swap into Giratina, and this is my opening here to win. We're going to shield up the first Dragon Claw, and then I will be able to overfarm and go for the Avalanche just as they make it to the second Dragon Claw, and Avalanche will be super effective. It will take out the Giratina, and we will make it to a Dragon Claw. I wasn't sure just how much energy they had, so we go for it straight away. Possibly could have gone for the Avalanche there, as they do reach a Dragon Claw just before we get the farm down, but Dragon Claw takes us out. We're able to counter farm them down with the Toxicroak, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Tentacruel into Galvantula, so another bad lead for the Tentacruel. Once again, going to go for that one Poison Jab, swap into a Alolan Marowak, and the opponent responds with a Greninja. So once again, not the best matchup for us. We're going to go for a Shadow Bone straight away. Shadow Bone grabs a shield there. Interesting. I don't know why they shielded. I guess maybe if I don't think a Fire Blast would have taken that either, so quite a strange decision by the opponent. But we're going to come in with the Tentacle. Unfortunately, they've got quite a lot of health here, so maybe that is why they shielded, thinking that Greninja can just spam charge moves. But they went for a Hydro Cannon for some reason. It probably does do slightly more damage than a Night Slash, but you probably should just go for Night Slash, since I'm able to fully Poison Jab, farm them all the way down from that range. And now I can just go for a Scald. Scald grabs the final shield from the opponent. They swap into a shiny Shadow Scizor, and we just deleted that thing in 2 fast moves before any boost, and now we go for the Flame Charge, taking out the Galvantula, and I'm able to take that game. So into another battle up against Nerds Rising, we lead into a Chandelure, so a pretty good matchup for us. He does eventually swap into Gabite, and we can completely core break his team, going for the Ice Punch. Ice Punch will be grabbing the first shield from the opponent. Now they will make it to a charge move. I'm going to shield this up, as I will easily make it to another Ice Punch, but I'm in quite a lot of trouble if they do double shield the Gabite here. So we go for Ice Punch number 2. And the opponent does let it go through, which is actually quite nice for us. We are going to see that the opponent is going to wait out the Switch Clock, come back in with the Chandelure. They do get the Incinerate farm down, but one Smackdown farms down the Chandelure. They come in with their Garchomp. I'm hoping I can make it to a Rock Slide, and I do. And I'm going to bank that as well, because I know Rampardos is easily going to win CMP, even up against a Garchomp. And here, I don't know if I was going to make it to the Scorching Sands. Rock Slide probably takes them out from this range anyways, but we grab the final shield here, and all we have to do is make sure we don't lag up against the Garchomp. And we don't. We make it to the Rock Slide. It is resisted damage, but come on, it's a Shadow Rampardos. It obviously takes out the Garchomp, and I'm able to take that game.
All right, getting into the first battle, Haunter versus Nidoqueen on the lead. A Shino Nidoqueen as well. Actually, pretty good lead right here. You're resisting the Poison Jabs and Poison Fangs, and you do have Ice Punch for super effective damage. And I imagine this one-shots if it lands. I can't see any other world where it doesn't. They do get a shield this early, which is really nice. We're going to see the first charge move coming through from Nidoqueen. So likely going to be the Poison Fang right here. And we will see them look to go for another Ice Punch, but a Greninja comes in. Now, Greninja obviously could do very well against this team, but it's also very glassy. As you see, Ice Punch did nearly half of its health. Shadow Claws are tearing it apart. The Gengar is going to go ahead and look to shield and try to get to a Shadow Punch in time, which they do just before. I think they did win CMP tie right here. So this is going to be enough to KO, and looking at how much damage these moves have been doing. But Gengar now going to let this go. So maybe we get a Ghastly sweep right here. You'd love to see it. Boom! Down goes the Gengar. And maybe Ghastly comes in right here. It does have, I believe, Lick is the fast move. Let's see. And they're going to go ahead and come in. Yeah, it is going to be Lick. So they do get the full farm down. Remember, Nidoqueen is relatively low. So they might be able to get the farm down here. They could shield as well. Yeah, okay, we got to see what that final Pokemon is. So Greninja's gone. Nidoqueen is about to go down. And the final Pokemon is going to be a Galvantula from a Shadow level 50 Ghastly with a Sludge Bomb. Boom! One shots, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Buckle up. This is going to be a very fun video.
So into the next game, we see Galarian Rapidash in the lead, so also a very bad matchup. We're going to swap into the Bronzong, and we're met with Galarian Slowking. Now, they will barely outpace me to the Shadow Ball before I make it to the payback, so I go for a Heavy Slam bait. We grab the shield, and at this point, I'm going to call a bait of my own. We're not going to be able to win this matchup if they go straight Shadow Ball, so unfortunately, they do go for that Shadow Ball, and they do take me out. But now we're going to come in with the Latios. I'm hoping I can Dragon Breath, fall them down, and only have to shield once here. But let's see, the opponent's going to go for a charge move. We shield at the last second. It's just a Surf bait, which is really unfortunate. But now I'm going to do a couple of Dragon Breaths maybe. Nope, just going to swap straight away. The opponent has a Malamar in the back. This is looking bad, but the opponent makes a huge mistake. They throw on the CMP tie. We grab the final shield from the opponent, and at this point, this is game over for them. As they go for the foul play, they take me out. They probably think they're in a great position here, as they've still got a very healthy Galarian Rapidash. But this is where Solar Beam is going to come in clutch. We will barely be able to get the Dragon Breath farm down. We come out with the Solar Beam loaded, and this is easily gonna one-shot the Galarian Rapidash, and I'm able to take that game. So into the next game, we are now running a triple Hitmonchan. The order is slightly different because I did chop and change it a little bit here, but we lead into Azumarill. Gonna swap into our Hitmonchan because we do have Thunder Punch. and Thunder Punch will be doing some nice damage to the opponent. They have enough energy for a Play Rough, so we're going to shield. It is the Play Rough, and now they swap into a Venusaur. Now, the awesome thing about Hitmonchan is that it could run any of the 3 elemental punches, so we're very likely to grab a shield up against this Venusaur, because Venusaur is a lot glassier than the Azumarill. They go for the Frenzy Plant, and I know I can outpace them, or at least make it to the Blaze Kick at the same time as the Frenzy Plant, and I will easily win the CMP tie. So this should be grabbing the final shield, or just taking out the Venusaur, and we do grab that final shield. And at this point, I'm happy to let Hitmonlee go down. I know they will barely outpace me to the next charge move. Well, actually, maybe they wouldn't, but we're going to come in with the Hitmon top. I'm going to go for a massive overfarm before going for that triple axle, and the opponent actually swaps into Galarian Stunfisk, so I'm going to counter 5 here, go for the close combat, hoping this is enough to take them out. It's actually not, but the opponent didn't realize they were going to survive that, so they didn't go for the rock side there, and that is amazing for me, because now I can boost my attack with the triple axle, and I am debuffed, so these bubbles probably would have taken me out with that rock side as well, but now I make it to a boosted close combat, taking out Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. Into the first battle lead, Shadow Jumpluff into Abomasnow, awful lead, so I'm going to save swap into my Shadow Giraffe rig, and this is the first battle I did with this team. I actually went on a 10-game win streak with my first 10 battles, which is very nice. We go for a Psychic Fangs, the opponent lets it go through, but they overfarm, massive mistake for the opponent, as now I can go for Psychic Fangs number 2, grabbing a shield, and at this point I'm very happy. I'm going to let Giraffe rig go down, of course. Jumpluff doesn't have the best matchup up against the Abomasnow, but with a shield advantage or an energy advantage, we can actually do fairly well. So I'm going to come in with my Lopunny, shield once, and I will be able to fully double kick farm them down, and we come out with a ton of energy. The opponent comes in with a Shadow Swampert. I'm just going to go straight for that Hyper Beam, and Hyper Beam one-shots the Shadow Swampert from full health. They come back in with the Abomasnow. I can safely let whatever move go through, and what I didn't realize is Lopunny is actually fairly bulky here. We do tank that very comfortably. Going to go for a triple axle, and this grabs the shield from my opponent. There's no point staying in. I'm going to swap into my Jumpluff, and I will be able to make it to an Aerial Ace before the opponent makes it to back-to-back Weather Balls. So I'm going to go for that Aerial Ace straight away, and from this range, it is going to be enough damage to take out the Abomasnow, and I'm able to take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, we'll lead Salander into Galvantula, so a great lead for us. The opponent going to stay in initially before swapping into Toxicroak. Now, I did have a bit of a trouble up against safe swaps that were poison types, but the opponent is going to shield the first move there, and now I'm looking to be in a much better position. That's one of the benefits of running a spicy Pokemon. Opponents aren't always going to know your moveset, especially with something like an XL Salandit or a Carablast, which is going for the drill run, taking out the Toxicroak, and they come back in with the Galvantula. Now, they overfarm, allow me to make it to an X-Scissor before they do throw a charge move. X-Scissor grabs the final shield from the opponent, and I'm actually going to be able to make it to another X-Scissor in time, and Carablast will be able to take out the Galvantula. They've got Greninja in the back, and unfortunately we're going to completely shred them with the Razor Leaf damage from my shiny Shadow Nuzleaf and take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle lead, Shadow Sneasler into Toxapex. So this is a fairly okay matchup. What I'm going to do is actually stay in, bank a close combat, since I did take resisted damage from those poison jabs, and then save swap into my Shadow Whiscash. I'm going to full send the Blizzard here, but the opponent shields the first move. Typically, they don't shield the first move there. I usually always just full send that Blizzard, and it's actually really bad that they did shield that. And now what I'm going to do is force the opponent to try and throw their energy as soon as possible, and I'm going to go for another Blizzard, but they're already at the next charge move, so I'm actually just going to let Whiscash go down. They've already revealed they are running Mud Bomb and Aqua Tail, so I'm now going to go for a close combat here, throwing just before they make it to the next Aqua Tail, and the opponent is going to double shield their Quagsire, swap back into the Toxapex, and at this point we've got 2 shields. I'm just going to let the Brine take us out, come in with my Shadow Excadrill, and Shadow Excadrill with 2 shields is absolutely deadly, especially when you can build up so much energy up against a poison jab user like the Toxapex. Now here, I build up to 99 energy, I do believe. I actually undercharge that so I can get 1 extra mud shot, get the farm down. They have a move bank, but that's fine with me. I'm going to shield this up. I will now overfarm in this matchup. I don't know what's in the bag. Throwing once again just before they make it to the next charge move. Drill Run takes out the Quagsire, and they have a Clodsire in the back. We build up to the back-to-back drill runs. The first drill run is going to do big damage there. The second one will be enough damage to easily take out the Clodsire from this range, and I'm able to sweep that game with my Shadow Extra Drill. Alright, so going into the first battle lead, Shiny Sizzle into Giratina. So this on paper seems like it should be a pretty good matchup, but this matchup isn't played on paper, it's played on the battlefield, and unfortunately Sizzle is really glassy here. So even though we go for a Night Sash, it's super effective. We only just get them into the yellow health. I'm going to shield an Ancient Power here. Luckily no boost for the opponent, and we are going to go for another Night Sash. All I want to do here really is get all shields down from my opponent's end. So we do grab the first shield. I'm probably going to double shield in this matchup because otherwise it's going to be quite difficult to take out this Giratina. And now I can overfarm, go for a Night Sash here just before they make it to the next charge move. And we do actually grab both shields from the opponent now. They will be able to take me out here, but I'm hoping I've got them low enough where I can Fury Cutter, farm them down with my Scyther. So I'm going to think about which Pokemon to come in with. We go for the Fury Cutter farm down, and we get there just before they make it to an Ancient Power, but they've got an Ampharos in the back. This is not looking too good for us. I'm going to go for the X-Scissor. That actually does quite a respectable amount of damage. We swap into our Cleaver, and the opponent has a Trevenant in the back. Now, X-Scissor does more damage this season. Is it going to be enough to hit them? We go for the first one. It gets them into the yellow health. Will this X-Scissor take out the Trevenant? No, it barely doesn't take them out there. Maybe should have gone for the Rock Slide instead, but the opponent goes for a Shadow Ball. It takes me out. We come in with the Scyther, and if the opponent is running Thunder Punch, this will be game over, unfortunately. But it's just a brutal swing, and now we can make it to the X-Scissor. Is this enough damage to take out the Ampharos? Yes, it is, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Alright, so going into the first battle lead, Shadow Weavile into Shadow Gramble. Awful lead for us, so I'm going to say swap into my Shadow Sneasel, and the opponent eventually swaps out into their Mandibuzz. I'm going to go straight for a close combat. If the opponent lets this go through, it's going to do huge damage to the Mandibuzz. They also overfarm, allowing me to make it to an Aerial Ace, and this should be grabbing a shield from the opponent. At this point, there's no point in shielding. They will outpace me to the next charge move. I think I wouldn't be able to Poison Jab farm them down either, so I let it go through. I come in with my Shadow Weaver. I will shield this because they do have a Shadow Gramble where I can't really use shields up against it anyways. We get a massive Snarl farm down, and we can go straight for an Avalanche if they come back in with their Shadow Gramble, which is exactly what happened. So Avalanche grabs the final shield, we swap into our Shadow Sneasler, and the opponent isn't able to make it to a charge move or swap out in time, and now they've got a Carbink in the back. We're going straight for the close combat. Close combat does big damage to the Carbink, and we should have just enough health here to make it to an Avalanche in time. An Avalanche will be taking out the Carbink, and I'm able to take that game. The opponent there. Into the next game, we see Venusaur into a Shadow Alola Ninetales. So if they're running Charm, it's actually pretty good. If they're running Powder Snow, they actually core break my entire team, and I honestly don't know what to do up against Powder Snow Alola Ninetales. Maybe that is a matchup where it probably would be better to run the Smackdown on my Rhyperior, but here we swap, we catch the move onto our Shadow Steelix, and because we're running Psychic Fangs, we do at least get to a charge move that can hit for at least neutral damage a lot faster. Obviously, it's not going to take them out from that range, but I can now shield, and because their defense is debuffed, I will be able to Dragon Tail farm them down, despite Dragon Tail being double resisted, and here we can go for a Psychic Fangs into the Medicham coming back in. Maybe could have gone for that Breaking Swipe, but it doesn't really matter here. We are going to come back in with the Venusaur. I will be able to outpace them to the Frenzy Plant. The opponent makes it to a charge move there. I thought that was a bit early to be an Ice Punch, but I'm going to respect the damage anyways, and I will use my shield. But it ends up being a power-up punch. That's really bad. They will be able to outpace me, but the opponent makes a big mistake. They swap into their Bastiodon, and now we can simply take the charge move, fully muds that Farland down, and we will come out with a charge move loaded to throw into Medicham. But the opponent is running Flash Cannon. But then we get the Vine Whip farm down, and that allows us to reach a Frenzy Plant in the end game. And Frenzy Plant takes out the Medicham, and we take that game. And that was such a crazy battle there. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Whimsicott into Medicham, so a very good lead for us here, and the opponent's going to swap into Trevenant. We don't have a response, so I'm going to go straight for a Moonblast. The opponent actually goes for a Seed Bomb here. They didn't farm to the Shadow Ball, so I can safely no-shield it, go straight for a Moonblast. I don't expect them to let this go through. I'm expecting a shield, and we do grab that shield. We also get the attack drop, which is quite nice for us. Going to swap into my Magneton. I'm not sure if a Magnet Bomb does take them out from this range, so I'm going to shield up the Shadow Ball. I will now overfarm to the back-to-back charge moves, and I'm hoping I've got just about enough health here where I will be able to make it to a Zap Cannon into the Medicham, coming back in, and we barely get there with 1 HP and a Dream. We go for the Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon takes out the Medicham, and they've got a Lantern in the back. Now, all I have to do in this battle is come in with my Whimsicott and hope they shield the first charge move here. We go for a Seed Bomb. It looks like it's a CMP tie as well. Seed Bomb will grab the final shield from the opponent, and now we can let it all up to Regieleki in the back. They go for a Surf, doesn't do much damage. We come in with the Regieleki, and honestly, I'm not sure if we would live a Surf and reach the Zap Cannon if I didn't shield. So shield up the Surf, we go for the Zap Cannon, and this is easily going to be enough damage to take out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. Alright, so going into the first battle, leads Wireless into Tentacruel. Now, I do have 2 Pokemon in the back that double resist the Poison Jab damage, so I save swap into my Shadow Ghastly. The opponent stays in, they don't even farm up to the school. Now, I know Ghastly is very glassy, but we can at least tank a double resisted Acid Spray. As they swap into Greninja, we go straight for the Sludge Bomb, and they don't respect the damage. We fully one-shot the Greninja, and now they come in with a Galarian Slowbro. This game is well and truly over for the opponent. They just don't know it yet. We're going to let the move go through. This is just going to be a Surf. It is resisted damage. The fact they're going for Surf there means they're probably running, like, I don't even know what they're running as a secondary charge move, but I can very easily let the next move go through. I'm actually going to swap into my Golurk, get an energy head start. Doesn't really matter. We can very easily Mudslap, farm down the Tentacruel, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.